So for this DIY, you're going to need a paper cutter. You're also going to need a laminating machine. I am using the Ultima 35 Easy Load laminator. I can link a more affordable laminating machine in the description box from Amazon in case you guys are interested in purchasing one, but not as pricey. You're also going to need a pencil, a ruler, and then your paper that you're going to use to create your cash envelopes. So the most cost-effective way, I believe, is to just print them out. So you can go on Google, go to images, put in the pattern that you want, and then make sure that the size of it is at least 1200 by 1200. That way it can take up the whole page. That way you are able to make cash envelopes where the whole thing is a pattern instead of some of it being just plain white paper and some of it being pattern. So you guys definitely can go out and buy pattern paper, but this is budget friendly. So if you have a printer at home with colored ink, just go ahead and print out the patterns that you'd like. So this piece of paper I already cut into the size that we need. So I'm gonna show you guys on this pattern how I cut it. So with your ruler, you want to measure out 6.5 inches across. So I'm going to use a pencil, that way you can erase it after. I'm gonna start at the 1 mark on my ruler and put a little mark, and then I'm gonna measure over 6.5 inches for how long a bill is. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, and then at the 7.5 mark, I'm gonna hit my 6.5 inches. And then because a dollar bill or any bill for that sake is, for that matter, is about 2 3/4 of an inch, I'm going to measure out 6 inches because we're going to be folding the envelope like this. So you want to make sure you leave enough room that when you slide the bill in, it fits comfortably. So using that same mark, I'm going to measure out 6 inches. So starting at the 1 again, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, and ending at the 7. If you guys have a clear ruler, it'll probably be much easier. And then again, on this side, I'm just gonna measure out my 6.5 inches again, just to, you know, make sure it's lined up with the top measurement. And because this ruler is not clear, it's kind of hard to make sure that it's straight, but it's fine because when you use your cutting tool, there's a way for you to kind of make sure that it's straight, which I'll show you guys in the next clip. But here we go, measuring 7.5 inches. And so now I have my 4 cut line marks. Okay, so as I was saying in the previous clip, to make sure that the paper is sliced straight, the slicer has a bunch of grid lines. So if you line up the edge of the paper, which we know is straight already, to match up with the grid lines, you can ensure that when you put the slice, press it down, that it will slice the paper straight. So the marks that I made on my paper, just so that I make sure I'm slicing at that point, I'm gonna bend over the paper so that I can find the edge. And now that I found the edge, I wanna make sure I straighten it out. So as I said before, so now you can kind of see that it's the same distance from this gridded line in all directions. And that's how you slice this edge. And then my other cut mark, line it up. You want to bend the paper down, that way you can get it as accurate as possible. Once you find that it bends down on the pencil mark that you did, then you want to make sure it's straight here. So equal distance from this grid line, and then, oops, perfect. Now do the same thing all the way around, bend it down to match up my cut mark. Line this top part up with here so that I know it's straight that way. And then lastly, my last pencil mark, which you can see right here, I'm going to, and then you line it up. You see how it fits perfectly with this line and that line? And now you have the perfect shape. So now, just so you don't get confused with folding, you want to make sure that you're folding the 6-inch side. You don't want to accidentally fold the 6.5-inch side because that is the length of the roll. So you want to make sure your paper is facing this way. It's easy to make that mistake. So we want to fold the 6-inch side. So you're going to just fold it in half. Make sure the edges are lined up perfectly. And now that your paper is folded, you head over to the laminator and you're gonna put it in the laminator. So you're gonna place both envelopes in the laminating machine, press the up button arrow for my specific laminator, and then you'll just see that the machine is gonna suck up the envelopes as it's laminating them. So now that we've taken our envelopes out of the laminator, we are left with this big piece that we need to cut down. So when you guys are cutting the opening of the envelopes, you can cut at any point. It can be either the top or the bottom to create the opening, because now that it's laminated on both sides, all corners, all sides are sealed. This could be a time for you to clean up anything that you feel like you messed up. So if you feel like you didn't fold the paper properly on one side, then cut at that side to create the opening. And then you're just gonna line up the laminated piece with the slicer and leave a little room on the edge like I did. All right, now that I've completed the cash envelopes, these are what they look like. I did 2 ways to show you guys how to do it. You could either slice at the top so that it's like this, or I know some people like to have the opening up at the top. So I slid it up at the top for you guys to see what that looks like. But yeah, so these are how you make cash envelopes. Thanks for watching, guys.